You don't have to lift like a 20-year-old to get those same muscle gains you got when you were 30. I'm knocking on the door of 49 next month, and I've gained more muscle than I have in a long time. And I did it without blowing out my joints. Want to find out what I did? These 5 pillars really helped me gain muscle after 40. Coming up on the Spencer Mark podcast. Hello. Hey, thanks for being here. I just want to be here just to let you know that you do not need more grind. You just need a little bit more awareness, perhaps. And I know that's what I needed when I was looking to get my muscle back as I roll into the second half of my life. But I'm finding out that in all my years of lifting, that muscle is really about precision. It's about mindfulness, greater awareness of your joints and of what you can handle. And it's definitely not about ego or excess. So getting right into it, let's talk about my 5 pillars of muscle gain after 40. I'm sure that you all have a protocol that you follow perhaps, but I just wanted to share mine and be open and honest here about what I'm doing. So here we go. This is me here just recently, not too long ago, feeling pretty good about myself, pretty good about the gains that where I'm at. And I just wanted to let you know, number one, this is about slow lifting and slow lowering. Mind muscle mastery. This is what we're really working towards. And I put a little picture here of me and my dips because going slow into that dip there, I'm trying to get a really good stretch here throughout the chest, throughout the front of the deltoid there here too, going real slow to allow my joints to really acclimate. And that's kind of where I'm going here with this. So what the science is really telling us here is that eccentric focus training, which is like that slow lowering. You know, many times we say, hey, I'm going to go lift. Not many times you hear somebody say, hey, I'm going to go lower. You want to go lower with me? I don't know if that sounds very good or not, but no, that slow lowering is going to produce greater muscle damage and hypertrophy compared to fast reps. So it's especially effective for older adults maintaining joint health while maximizing their growth. Okay, so let's get into like what that means essentially. So the slower reps, you're talking about feeling much better with that because it's really going to warm up your joints. You're going to get a good stretch within those things, but you're going to have more tension throughout the entirety of the lift, throughout the full range of motion. The gains are going to be better for you here as well because this is due to more time under tension. If you go through your reps really quickly, let's say you do a set of 12, and if you're done in 15 seconds or even 12 seconds, what did you really get out of it? But if you can get those 12 reps done in a minute, well, that really changes the entire game. So this will also equal fewer injuries. So we probably learned that, I know when I was in high school, I had a hard time doing pull-ups. I was a really chubby kid. I could not pull myself up to the bar. So my coach did a really good job of like letting me know, is like, hey, let's get this guy up here to the top of the bar and just hold yourself as hard as you can and just lower yourself down. Many of us have had that experience before. And before I knew it, after a few weeks of doing that, I was able to do 3 or 4 pull-ups. So my experience in doing this now at 40 plus, almost 49, I'm lifting slower than ever. I'm really mindful of that. I really use the eccentric movement to just really kind of meditate on what's happening within my muscle. This is like a full awareness. So I really call this as like a yoga for lifting for me. I'm a yoga instructor, and it's really all about building an intention, building awareness. So this is a lot like my yoga practice. What I learned in India is that yoga is the practice of excellence in each moment you're aware. So whether you're lifting weights, if you're chopping your food, you're doing your laundry, if you're completely present with it, doing the best that you can, then you're in a state of yoga. So the thing that I'm trying to do is not do mindless reps. I'm trying to do reps of complete presence. Not to mention, my nervous system feels a lot safer when doing everything much slower. I can slowly acclimate. So that has been the biggest thing here for me. And that's what I wanted to start out with my number one kind of gripe, but it's my number one kind of key to helping me get stronger. I'm slowly lowering the weight more than just worried about lifting. So slowly lowering the weight and even coming up on that weight even faster. But I can get more into that. There's a lot to discuss here with that. So love to know your thoughts. Something to ask yourself here too. Are you just chasing the reps, or are you building a presence within each rep? You know, even if you did one solid, very slow, intense rep, that's probably going to be better than 12 mindless ones, right? So mind plays a big factor in the amount of muscle that you're able to grow. And that's been proven scientifically too. So something to ask yourself here too, to be aware of when you get to your next session, man. So the second pillar, protein is a muscle building lever. This is a picture of my actual breakfast. Yeah, so this is pretty typical for me. I have a salmon fillet that's in there. I go to Trader Joe's. I get the smoked salmon fillet that's spicy. It's really nice. And then I usually put 3 or 4 eggs in there. They're fried in a little bit of butter. And then this is broccolini with some spinach and some hot sauce on top of that. I mix that up. That's around 500 calories, 50 grams of protein. And I stay pretty satiated with that. You know, so that's what I do for my breakfast pretty much every morning. Now, the science is telling us too that the protein needs, they increase with age due to anabolic resistance. So, you know, as we age, we have to deal with things like sarcopenia, the wasting away of muscle tissue. So we need to actually eat more protein as we get older. So we always hear the 1 gram per pound of body weight. I'm getting up around 1.2, but that's what the science is saying. Anywhere from 1 gram to 1.2 per pound of body weight is ideal for active men over 40 if you're looking to build muscle. So for me, that's what I'm trying to aim for. So the thing is here, and I'm going to share my own experience like this, but we get caught in our patterns, right? We get caught in just our basic day-to-day. We eat, we go back to our thing. We kind of eat mindlessly. Most men eat without the awareness that the food or their eating habits tend to get a little bit softer and softer, right? Have you ever noticed that, to where you used to measure, then you get really soft on like how much you have, and then maybe a little bit more, you eating a little bit more. And the softer you are with what maybe your restrictions are, or how much you're eating or how little, the softer your body kind of gets. That was me. This is me. These are my pillars here, right? So the protein, again, it's the raw material for the constructive change. And honestly, it's the key to a longer life. So I'm really prioritizing protein with each and every meal. That's number one. Then it goes fiber, then fat, and then whatever carbohydrate I have after that. But it's really about staying within a caloric range, but I'm making sure that I'm getting enough protein in each and every meal. And I feel great. So that's mine, and that's my work as a metabolic coach to help people through diabetes and type 2 and pre-diabetes and weight loss. So that's what we see works. Oh, going into my experience here, I shifted, as many of you know that have been and followed me, I shifted from a plant-based diet just at the beginning of the year. I've been doing that for 14 years. And I switched from that to a high protein. It was an animal-based diet. And when that happened, what really, really helped me, man, is that my hunger pain stopped. Like I had that little voice in my head and tell me, eat more, have some more oatmeal, eat more dates, eat more bananas, eat more, eat more, eat more, eat more. That shut up finally. And that's because of the release of leptin inside of my body. So when you're eating high protein animal, high protein, but I feel that animal-based protein is much better because you're not getting the starch with that. So my hunger stabilized, my recovery sped up, which is great. So when your recovery speeds up, you can get to the gym a little bit more often and re-damage the muscle tissue and go and rest again. And then the fat dropped. This was a really big thing for me too. When I was eating all that time, I was eating fairly clean as a vegan. It wasn't like I was a junk food vegan. But when I started wearing a continuous glucose monitor, I'll talk about that a little later, that I noticed that I was pre-diabetic. And so did you realize that 1 in 2 men are pre-diabetic? Just don't know. So going back here to the protein bit though here too. I just wanted to share that right now my protein is about 220 grams per day. That's where I'm at, and it comes out to about 1.2 grams per pound of body weight where I'm at. That's me. So the action steps here then just kind of offer you here is to just see what it's like for you to just track one day of food. Track what you're eating, what the protein is, what the fiber is, what your fat, what the fat is, maybe a little bit. You don't even have to get into the amounts, just what you actually are eating, and then ask yourself: are you fueling your growth, or is what you're eating slowing you down a little bit? It's good to even note your energy levels as well. So if you track one day of food, you can track how you feel thereafter. And again, this is all about little micro habits, right? Little gradual things that you can do each day, right? Just gradual goals. Just a little bit goes a long way. Okay. So something you could do there. Now, number 3, you want to split training with recovery days. This is what I'm doing. This is with my partner, Adele. We go out on the trails often in the foothills here in Boise. We go out just for a nice walk. We get that zone 2 cardio, we connect, on a deep level here too, share what's going on within our lives, go for a nice walk side by side. This is a good active recovery day for us. So that's what I try to split my weight training days with. It's with walking. I'm getting myself into rope flow. For any of you who understand what rope flow is, that's a lot of fun. I'm not good at it, but I am learning. Stretching every day. And I'm going into that a little bit more here in just a bit. But what the science tells us here is that with older adults, you really benefit from recovery integrated volume. So they recommend here in one of these studies is a 4-day split with rest days, enhances muscle protein synthesis, your ability to take amino acids and create muscle into that, and it reduces injury risk. So when I read this here too, this is keeping your body acclimated to moving resistance throughout the week. So I used to get in a situation where I was like maybe just lifting once or twice a week and it was okay, but I felt that it wasn't enough time under tension, really. So I went from 1 to 2 days more real super high intensity into a 4-day split to where I'm feeling a really good moderate to high intensity. But I really structure my rest days in between strategically to get the max benefit of rest. So being aware that you don't grow in the gym, you don't grow lifting, you don't grow any of that. You grow in between the workouts. So that's one thing to be aware of. Many of you know that, and all the guys that are here, you understand that. Okay. So, but what I work on with my rhythm, I do a push-pull legs, and that's 4 days a week. So today I just got done with push, and I have a couple variations of that. I will get into my routine a little bit more in depth, but this is what works for me right now. And I try to stay with it from at least 6 months to a year before I change anything up. Now, to fill the gaps, I work in my yoga practice. Of course, it's something I like to keep up. That fills in the gaps along with walking up grades, like up hills, even a stroll around the neighborhood. That's one thing that I like to do for my recovery as well. Mobility daily, that is a non-negotiable, but it doesn't have to be super intense. You can still recover actively and do some mobility work. Okay, so like stretching your hips, some calisthenics like the rope flow, Tai Chi. There's a lot of things that you can do for your mobility. But my recovery is active on the off days. That's the big point. So what I do is I lift Monday and Tuesday. I skip Wednesday, and so in the middle of the week, I take a day. Then I go Thursday, Friday. And the entire weekend, I take off from lifting. So I'm getting 3 days of rest, 4 days of working out in the gym with weights. So your challenge here, just putting it out there for you, is to start rethinking recovery as part of the gains. It's not a break from the gains. So you want to think of this holistically. You will grow more when you accept and incorporate this entire process. If any of you are familiar with shadow work, integrating those parts of you that you deny or repress or that you might be embarrassed about, if we can incorporate our shadow more into our light side, all the things that we do like about ourselves, and just working on accepting ourselves fully, we become more powerful. So this is the same type of thing here. We're trying to become more powerful by really focusing on that rest, and don't discount the rest. The rest is part of the building. That's what needs to happen. Those construction guys out there that are building houses and condos and skyscrapers, the only way it gets built is if they go home and they go to sleep and they come back to work. So same thing here too. So let's just get right into it. Testosterone, healthy hormones. But I also want to go talk about your identity and image, because we all understand what testosterone does for the body, especially as we age, and how it builds more muscle. But there are other things here too that it's been very beneficial, is that low T has been linked to depression. Many of you probably realize that, but it's also low motivation and a very poor self-image. The research shows that testosterone replacement therapy can improve mood and your mental clarity. So particularly in men with clinically low T levels. Now, this is definitely something that I've had to deal with, where I was really depressed. I was really not feeling good about myself. This really all starts with how you feel too, and how you feel about yourself. So backing this out back a little bit more, like the muscle really starts in the mirror of the mind, how you're thinking of yourself. If you have a low opinion of yourself and low self-esteem, you're not going to want to get outside and really work on yourself. You're not going to want to exercise as much. You're not going to want to talk to people. That has a direct impact on the things that you do and the actions that you take. So when your testosterone is tanked, it's not just your body that shrinks, it's your self-worth. And that's a big part of it. And that's why a lot of men have found themselves in dire straits with their mental health as well. This isn't the only bit, but it's a big piece in that of all the people that of men, they did this study to where men were interviewed that have tried to commit suicide or attempted suicides, and the words that keep coming up are worthless, useless, no meaning. Yeah. So we men, it's important that we have a meaning, we have a purpose, and we're using that each and every day. And that all stems from our self-worth. So getting your hormones right, it's not just about boosting muscle, right? It really does, it restore your emotional footing. And that's the biggest thing it was for me. So it was before I optimized hormones that I felt super foggy. I got real low. I have a real dark past I'm still working through, with parents, with family. And so I was really disconnected with who I was. So I worked with a doctor and I got my clarity back, like immediately. Like the next day, I didn't feel like I was hurt. I didn't want to hurt myself. I felt clearer, mentally and physically. And that's what's actually helped me reconnect to a healthy self-image. And with that healthy self-image I hold inside of my mind, I adopted practices that fall in line with that healthy self-image. And that's where it really all begins. It's not an outside in thing. It's a really working on the inside out. And so when we're working with our hormones as well, this is really helping build our image. So ask yourself, what's the image you're lifting toward? What are you working toward? So understanding how your hormones play a factor in it. Are your hormones helping that you mentally hold the vision, or is it cloudy? All right. So talk to others that are going through this. This is why I'm offering, my experience here too. Something to be upset about or worried about here too. As we age, these things happen, and it's a real issue. Another thing that happens when you age is you lose your eyesight. I can't see you right now when I take my glasses off. I didn't always need glasses. It's as I got older, I needed to get glasses. So I went and I saw a doctor and I got a prescription to actually use some technology outside of myself. So now I can see. It's amazing. So want to live your best life, you got to find what you got to find and do it safely, absolutely safety under doctor's supervision, and ask good questions and have respect for the entirety of the process. But that was not the most important piece, honestly, because The fifth pillar here was getting that metabolic intelligence, understanding how my cells are responding to food. So I'm talking about here using a CGM, understanding what a continuous glucose monitor is, what it does, and understanding insulin and stress and the parts of that picked. And I wanted to put this picture here too, because this is when I started hormone optimization. But if you can see, I can use my mouse here, but here I was starting to grow the boobs back, after some initial success, but I was still overeating. I was still getting a little bit depressed, and I could see this belly here that was growing. The biggest problem here with this picture is this hat. It's ridiculous. God, I thought this was cool for a while, but when I saw this picture, I burned the hat. I did not want to be a fat park ranger. So just so you know, TRT is not a Band-Aid. Hormone optimization does not clear it all up. The thing that helped the most out of all this was understanding my insulin, understanding how to use, understanding blood sugar, really. And what helped me was the CGM work. Now, getting into that, the science shows here is that chronically high cortisol, which is a stress hormone that we feel we have on either probably on all the time, or it comes on in weird ways. But chronically high cortisol and insulin resistance, they block muscle growth and encourage fat storage. CGMs, or continuous glucose monitors, help regulate glucose response for better nutrient partitioning. Now, the CGM is not going to actually do that. You do that, but the CGM shows you exactly how the food you eat affects you. Okay, and that's something that I work on with men too, to help you decipher what that CGM is telling you and then pick the food that works best for your metabolism, your particular metabolism. So simply, you can't build muscle in survival mode, that fight or flight mode all the time. Okay, the stress is what's really going to kill the gains. The stress and the high insulin responses that causes chaos inside of your cells. So quite simply, you can't build muscle in survival mode. So my process here too was after I was using a continuous glucose monitor. This was a Stello here from Dexcom. These are fairly inexpensive now. You can get a couple of these. This is a 15-day. This sensor will last you 15 days. It's a little sensor you stick on the back of your arm here. Whoop. And then it syncs to an app on your phone to let you know how the food you're eating is raising or lowering your blood sugar. And when I was on a high starch diet, my blood sugar was staying elevated for a long time, which means I had high amounts of insulin running through my blood. And insulin is a big time fat hormone. It secretes a lot of fat hormones. So insulin helps things grow. So I was storing a lot of visceral fat from having a high influx of sugar in my blood. So when I saw what the CGM was doing, what my food was doing, that's when I made the switch. And immediately my blood sugar spikes went way down. So this is about regulating your blood sugar. It's syncing your sleep to recovery. Sleep plays a huge factor in your blood sugar and lowering your insulin. Going to bed at the same time every night. And that means having a good bedtime ritual, not up on the screens, not unless you have those fancy red glasses like Huberman wears or Rick Rubin. I don't have those fancy red. Maybe when I make it big, I'll put the red lenses in. But anyway, it's about really getting optimal sleep and keeping the stress down, because stress and low sleep, that raises your blood sugar too, even if you don't even eat anything. So that's interesting stuff. Yeah. So let's see, where are we at? Okay. So again, ask yourself, is my nervous system primed for confidence and strength or a fear-based survival mode? Okay. So working on trying to stay in what many somatic therapists call, like my partner Adele, are you in ventral energy? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling secure, calm? You feeling connected? It's when you're on top of the world and feeling really good about yourself and you're optimistic, you're hopeful. But it's when we get pissed off and when we start to get fearful, we find ourselves really sinking down into a different level of our nervous system to where we're feeling what's called like sympathetic, which is fight or flight. And then after that, when you're feeling really worthless because your body's so tired, You're feeling what's called dorsal energy. More on that a lot later. But we can get in a survival mode quite easily if we're constantly living in a state of fear, and we can't really grow if we're always trying to protect ourselves. So again, ask yourself, are you feeling confident? Are you feeling strong? Are you doing those things that are going to lift you up? Or are you falling into old habits that eventually just pull you down? Okay. It's just a question to ask yourself. I still have to ask myself that often. No judgment here, guys. So closing message here that I got for you is that overall, guys, the resistance is a sacred thing. When we master the resistance inside the gym, we begin to master resistance in our lives. And you felt that, right? So you're going to gain more muscle, and you're going to gain a stronger identity. How you feel about yourself, how you see yourself interacting with other people. It's so huge. So it's not just about building your buys, my man. It's about building a belief in yourself. That's really what it's all about here too. That's what I want to impart with you. And I want you to just to know that you are supported. You are doing all the things that are necessary to live a healthy and well life, to live in a state of power. You want to build power in the gym so you can use your inner power out there in the world and help your family, helping yourself, helping your community, your brothers and your sisters out there too, being the best version of yourself. And that's what this is all about, right? We train to get stronger, not just in body, but in mind and in emotion and our relationships. Resistance is a sacred thing. Embrace that. So if you're ready to gain strength without wrecking your body or losing yourself, a sense of self in the process, then comment ready and get into the link right here too. And I want you to get into commenting with me. I want to be able to answer all of your questions. Let me know your questions. Let me know your comments. Let me know your process too. Let's just start a dialogue. I'm going to be opening up a course called the Midlife Metabolic Kickstarter. It's like a muscle Kickstarter, but it's a 4-week jumpstart designed for your real life, customized to you. And it's not just some sort of 25-year-old influencer fantasy lifting program. This is going to be customized to you with expert coaching on my part here too, program optimization, everything that you need in order to get you from point A to point B within just a span of 4 weeks. It's going to give you a great head start moving in to the end of the summer and into the fall. And hopefully by the time Christmas comes around here too, you have some very powerful self-control when the cake and cookies and the donuts and the pastries come out. But it's okay to have those every now and again too. But I want you to know that I appreciate you very much. And thank you so much for being here with me. And I look forward to working with you here very soon. Please continue to tune in. If this worked for you at all, please like and subscribe. It definitely helps the old algorithm, helps me keep going. But I'm here for you. I appreciate it. Go out there today and make your mark on the world. All right. Take care.